another episode of Nerdstrodamus. I'm Dr. Penn.
I'm Lambo.
And this is the end.
It's Endgame.
It is Endgame. Avengers Endgame comes out this week, and we don't normally talk about the comic booky things.
We did an episode a long time ago about comic book movies, superhero movies.
Right, with the special guest, the Nerdcore from the Comic Booksters.
Yes.
And
long time ago.
And we talked about Infinity War when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
We did that in a podcast, but we're not big on this on our show. But this has been 10 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest epics, cross-universe, like continuity movie events to ever happen, and it's coming to an end this week.
Yeah, us nerds, we usually don't get this kind of payoff ever. We usually get half-hearted attempts at trying to kind of cater to us, but still be relevant to the masses. And you can say what you will about the quality of Marvel's films and stuff, but they have done a good job crafting their own little universe.
They have. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, review-wise, money-wise. They're doing a really good job. And even comic book events themselves don't have the payoff that this is probably going to in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it is just like a comic book event, in which case it's going to peter out right at the end.
People have been born. It's crazy. Anyway. We're going to make a couple of predictions.
Because in Nerdstrodamus, we predict things
Sometimes.
on occasion. Yes. We will be rewarded or punished for this, but we have 4 categories.
Yes.
Let's start with our first one, which is the method of undoing the snap.
Yes.
So in Infinity War, Thanos, of course, does the snap, and 50% of the population goes away, taking most of our heroes with them.
Mm-hmm. A lot of our fan favorites.
Spider-Man.
A lot of people who, of course, have future movies attached to them. There's nothing wrong with that. We know that they're going to come back. But the deal is, how do they do it? Dr. Pants, how do they bring everybody back? How do they undust everybody?
So, I think they're going to pretty much have to recreate the gauntlet themselves and use it.
Ooh.
But I think they're going to have to go to Thanos and get the remnants of the gauntlet he has and reconstruct it from there. I mean, what you have left in the Avengers is some of the greatest scientific minds around, and I think they'll find a way to recreate it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk and
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And you do have Scott Lang, who, well, maybe not a scientific genius.
He is a criminal genius.
He is a criminal genius, and I think he'll prove to be very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm. I think we're definitely going to get some crazy time travel stuff going on, obviously.
Okay.
In Ant-Man and the Wasp, there was all this, time travel-y stuff. They said don't get stuck in a time vortex. So I think they're just going to go back in time and undo something. I think that maybe they're going to hit some maybe specific points throughout time. I don't think it's necessarily like all like Dragon Ball Z style, like they got to go collect all the things again.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're doing that.
That would be way too much like trying to Back to the Future Part 2 it.
Yeah.
Because it would be cool if they went back to some earlier events. There's been talk of them kind of recreating the New York City battle in Avengers 1. But I think for them to have to go back to all the other parts from like the other movies, it would be a little on the nose.
Yeah, I think
it would be cool. But it would be a little on the nose.
Kind of revisiting everything after the 10th anniversary, having all these heroes there.
Yeah, that would be like, I mean, if it were in a comic book, that would be the right way to do it.
It would be the right way to do it.
But I think for the movies, we want something more satisfying. So I think they're going to go back to some kind of point in time where they can stop it all from going down.
Okay.
Which could create some alternate universe kind of stuff, which could affect the overall story afterwards. That's what I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Way more complicated than what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah. But mine's going to also be difficult to verify because, we'll
just wait.
I'll take my list.
Is it time travel or is it them just recreating the gauntlet? Let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the red herring, because with the recent Marvel trailers they've been doing for like the most recent movies, you watch the trailers and then the movie happens and you realize, wait, the trailer lied to me.
Yeah, specifically the biggest one that everybody points out is Hulk showed up in the Wakanda battle in the original
trailer for Infinity War, but he's not there.
Right.
And the Russo brothers have come out and said that we mess with the trailers to like keep spoilers out.
Yeah.
So
my red herring that I think is, and I think this is an obvious one, I'm going for a safe bet. There's a scene at the end of the second 2 trailers where everybody is kind of stepping out in their new Avengers swag outfits, reminiscent of like Mass Effect kind of stuff. And we see all kinds of people together. We don't know how Tony Stark made it back. All of our living characters are there going into space together. And I think they messed with that. There's somebody missing.
Or somebody who's there who's not supposed to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's some kind of like special person that we don't see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my red herring is, it's a red herring, but it's not a red herring.
Mm-hmm.
So that very first trailer we've got Tony Stark in space recording his final message to Pepper.
Okay.
We've got that whole thing set up there that like he's dying and this is going to be the end. I actually think that's only set up where it is and cut the way it is to build tension. I think what you don't know is the very next scene in the movie is when they come and get him.
Probably, and maybe it's really, really quick. Maybe it's not like a ton of drama in the beginning.
Right.
It might be only just to kind of create drama for us sitting here.
Exactly. Yeah. I think they're creating drama for the trailer.
That's a good one. I mean, that's also a pretty safe bet, but it's a good one.
Right.
I think that's pretty good.
All right. Let's talk about a wild card.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen in the movie that's going to be out of left field, but is going to be there for fan-pleasing just awesomeness?
X-Men. Something X-Men related. Yeah. Okay. Hear me out.
Okay.
Right before Civil War came out, the big deal was they got Spider-Man on board. No one knew how it was going to affect things going forward, and then Spider-Man shows up in the trailer, and it's a big deal.
Okay.
I think they would leave it out for right now, but they have acquiesced all of the Fox things. X-Men, or I'm going to say something Fantastic Four related. One of those two.
Okay.
Because those are the two properties they just got access to. And Fantastic Four has not gotten the love and care it deserves.
No, I mean, they canceled the comic because of how bad the last movie did.
Yeah.
But the comic's coming back.
Right.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What if the scientific mind thing pans out and one of the people they call is Reed Richards?
Or something. So there's... and it doesn't have to be a big deal, and it could be just a tiny little tidbit, but I think the wild card, Easter egg we're going to get is going to be something either X-Men or Fantastic Four related.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it would be awesome. And in my heart of hearts, it would be awesome that, they all show up to fight, and then just randomly, Wolverine shows up. Hugh Jackman's there, let's finish this. And he could die 5 seconds later, and I would still love it. And it would be stupid, and it's probably not going to happen because, you know how it goes. But
the fact that they've had this planned for so long makes me wonder if they would include X-Men. Fantastic Four, I could see a nod to.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might be right. My wild card is... the whole Infinity War movie, we have Hulk struggling because he gets so beaten by Thanos in the beginning that the Hulk is scared. Okay? I think what we're going to get is Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, is going to Hulk out finally. It's going to be this crowd-pleasing moment. But we're not going to get Green Hulk. I think we're going to get one of the other variations on the Hulk. Maybe Gray Hulk, where we have Bruce Banner's intellect with the Hulk's power. He finally gets a control of both.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't necessarily Bruce Banner. This is a different person being the Hulk, but he finally just becomes overcome by so much rage that he goes Red Hulk. I know that it doesn't quite fit with the character and whatnot, but
that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I can see that.
I mean, they're building up to a hulking out moment.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen, it's gonna
we need a Thanos
horrible crap movie.
We need a Thanos Hulk rematch, and I think Hulk's gonna bring. He's just not gonna. Or bring out all the stops.
Yeah, it would be kind of just whatever if he just finally comes back. It's I found the strength within me, We've done that already.
Yeah, that whole I'm always angry.
Right.
I want to see a different variation of the Hulk. I want to see him come to terms.
That would be good. That would be good.
And it'd be kind of a nice way for him to complete his arc. Because I think what we're doing in this movie is all the original Avengers are going to complete their arcs.
Yes. Yeah. Because all the extra ones are still in the middle of their arcs, I think.
Right.
Everybody phase 2 and forward who was introduced.
Right.
So yeah.
Which leads us, if they're all completing their arcs, somebody's probably going to die.
Yeah, let's open up the death pool. This is our last one. I should have called it the dead pool, but I'm not going to. The death pool.
Lambo, who do you think's going to die?
Who's going to die? Oh, okay. Everybody's been talking about Cap and Iron Man, of course. Mm-hmm. I don't think Cap's going to die. I'm gonna throw him on the. I'm gonna make an opposite claim and say he's probably going to live.
Okay.
I think it would be really sad because they're doing time travel, and in one of the trailers we could hear a monologue from Peggy Carter herself.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be impossible for me to imagine if they needed to get rid of something and take it somewhere, maybe get rid of one of the Infinity Stones and bring it into the past forever, so it was never anywhere. For him to return to the past, in some kind of majestically heroic moment with it, and then he could live out the rest of his life and whatever.
Okay.
That would change all of history and mess everything up. But But it would be a satisfying end, I think, for Steve Rogers.
Okay, so who's going to die then?
All right. Thor.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm just throwing this out there because Thor, and you're going to probably say the same thing about Captain America, Steve Rogers, but I think Thor doesn't have anyone else in his life anymore. Everybody who he loved and cared about is dead. And you know, especially after Thor Ragnarok, it was so much fun to have him like kind of even teaming up with Loki one last time. Like that's not going to happen anymore. Loki's very likely dead forever. So I think because he doesn't have his foils any longer, then we're stuck there. So I think I can pretty much pretty concretely say Steve Rogers is going to live, Thor's going to die, but I'm willing to roll the dice. Of course, I'm probably wrong.
See, I imagine that Thor is actually going to rebuild Asgard and rule over it.
Okay, and then of course become Old Man Thor and all that stuff.
Right. I think that's where that's going to go.
I agree. That could happen.
Well, I like your idea of Steve going back in the past. I honestly believe, and this is my big thing, is we've had this divide between Cap and Iron Man since Civil War.
Right.
They have not reconciled since.
Not entirely.
No.
Not entirely.
I think they're going to reconcile, and they're going to realize that in rebuilding the gauntlet, they're going to have to create a soul stone, and you have to give up something you care about. And I think Tony is going to offer to sacrifice himself, but Steve, knowing that Tony has other people waiting for him to come back, such as Pepper and Peter, that Steve has very few people left. With Peggy dead and him being displaced from his own time and whatnot, and having completed his journey, he's created the Avengers, he's brought all these people together. There are so many better people to defend the universe that he's the one to sacrifice himself and create a soul stone.
He was the first Avenger.
He was the first Avenger.
Ooh, and that makes me sad.
And if he's the first Avenger, we're ending the first arc of the Avengers. I think it's...
Oh, that makes me sad.
Right!
Oh, God. All right. Okay.
Wait, what's sadder? That idea or... Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
I mean, you know.
Ooh.
Oh, God. All right. So that was really interesting. I'm pretty sure, Black Widow and Hawkeye are going to make it through. They have TV series and stuff on the horizon.
I thought Black Widow just had a movie.
I think there's a series popping up on Disney Plus. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But anyway, and I think Hulk is safe. Yeah.
I think Hulk is safe. I don't think they'd kill him off, and if they did...
And I think we both agree that Tony Stark will probably live. I don't think it's a satisfying thing to watch him die.
No,
I think we had the scare of him dying at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah,
I think that was bad enough.
Yeah, and we've got and they're building the scare in this, which goes back to my red herring. I don't think Tony's in danger. I think they're building it that way to make it look that way, and they're going to pull the rug out from under us, and Steve's going to die. Which goes along with the idea that the Russo brothers have said the reason Cap is not in Infinity War that much and doesn't have as big a part to play is because he's building up to a much bigger part in Endgame. I think Steve's going to be the one to sacrifice himself and pull off this big epic moment in the end.
Well, and both of us think he's going to do that in some sort of way.
Right.
It just depends on whether he lives or dies doing so.
True. I mean, we do also have the two Captain America replacements on standby.
They're right there.
Bucky and Falcon in the comics.
We have the Iron Man replacement though too. So.
Well, technically not.
Yeah.
Who's the Iron Man replacement?
Pepper Potts.
She was Rescue, who was alongside Iron Man.
Yeah.
The actual Iron Man replacement, Ironheart, when Tony was dead in the comics, is not around.
Oh.
Not yet. But I have a feeling they would build that up.
All right. There's our thoughts.
Yeah, and, so, let us know what you think, if you agree with us, or if you have some other crazy theory, or if you watch this after the movie, let us know how we were wrong, because, we'll be making a video shortly afterwards about what happened and what we, how we were right and how we were wrong. But also just let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the movie, or if we're just a bunch of dorks and we shouldn't care about comic book movies. Let us know that too. We accept all criticism. But
everything will change after this Thursday evening.
It's true. It's true. But make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Make sure to ring the bell so you get notifications when we put up new videos, because even if you subscribe, you got to ring the bell to get all the notifications. Plus, we go live every Friday, except this Friday. Except this Friday. But next Friday we'll be back. Make sure to follow us on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that crap. Go to Nerdstrodamus.com. But for Nerdstrodamus, I'm Dr. Pants.
I'm Lambo.
And we will see you